So, thank you very much for having me here. Thank you very much for all the speakers before me. Fadi, it was such an inspirational speak. Thank you very much. A round of applause, please, for Fadi. Yeah? Awesome. So, now we are having a look at how does this look like, this mysterious metaverse. And as we heard before, so I'm the extended reality lead for ASG, Austria, Switzerland, and Germany. And we created in the last years, and especially in the last months, collaboration platforms, virtual collaboration platforms, and also metaverse experiences or metaverse spaces, sorry, or worlds, how we call it. So, as you can see here, there is a sentence that I heard in a leadership meeting. Someone said, Accenture is just a laptop. But of course, it was more a question, and it's more an insider joke. So you're a consulting company, and what are you? I'm a laptop. And my first thought was, we are more than that. We are laptops and 60,000 headsets. And we know it's much more than that. Yeah? But it was amazing when our CEO, Julie Sweet, announced that there will be a change, and that the change is going into the direction of metaverse, and that virtual reality and AR and everything together is the experience that we want to have in our daily lives. And this is the first lesson that we learned, so that we have the right partners here. So maybe you got this, several people before me also talked about that. We are working on the basis of having VR headsets. There will be more of it, and we are living the metaverse aspect, the approach. Also last week, there was this announcement. You can also have a look at the website of Meta, where there is this cooperation between Microsoft and Meta. And the third partner is Accenture. And Accenture did a great job, because here you see at least not how many people we are hiring, but the job postings, and we were also surprised. This was, I think, 4 weeks ago when we also saw this in the internet. And for us it was, you have to be in the right company, and we know company means company and company, to create metaverses and make the very best of it. And we are following this one Accenture approach, that we are all collaborating together to create really crazy stuff. And for our clients, it may be this be with the right company. And here you see, or you saw before, that we have a very good standing. This is from a nearly illegal event that we did some weeks ago in Frankfurt. So some of my team members, and we have really cool guys doing a good job. And this is the next lesson that I learned in my life. If you want to create the big stuff, you need cool guys. You need creatives, and you have to work with creatives. You need managers, you need administrators. You need a company in the background that has this scalability factor. And I don't say that every day is a good day. Yeah? Creating metaverses or creating metaverse worlds is something where we say, bring all those people together and try to make it in time. Usually we do that. And this is something you always have to think of if you're talking about the metaverse. Metaverse is really massive. And metaverse means we have to collaborate. And it means that different mindsets have to collaborate. And this is what you cannot be prepared for. I'm coming from the music industry. That's why I have this funny artist name, so from the 90s. I was a pop act in the 90s. And I learned to live with creatives, with managers, and I think this was the best education that you can have. Our success stories in 2022. On the left hand, you see we created a corporate metaverse project. I will showcase this today. Then we also, for the same company, made an immersive learning campus on our own framework. What you see to the right, the Metaverse operative modules, we just call it MOM. because mom is helping you. And this is the Unity-based framework where we deliver Metaverse content, Metaverse experiences, Metaverse worlds. So when we created for an energy provider called E.ON, the first corporate Metaverse, we had to learn, or we had to teach the clients, think big, create big. At the moment, we're working on another project where we'll have in virtual reality an augmented reality experience to convince the board members to invest in their Metaverse world. And what we are talking about there is that you show the usual mistake that you make. When COVID came up, a lot of events, exhibitions had to move to virtual reality. My best friend has an event agency in Berlin, and she said, Andy, it's crazy. The people come, they have all the space in the world. What they want is to have a booth 4 by 4 meters. And this is what we're also showcasing to other people now in virtual reality. Why do you want to have 4 by 4 meters if you can have 40 by 40 meters? Or in one of the last meetings I said, we could have the complete globe as one room. Yeah? It's ... Metaverse. Yeah? So think or rethink and really create as big as it's meaningful. In this case, it was meaningful to create a larger area. Why? Well, the client said, I want to have partners in my Metaverse world. And that means I need space. And then I told him, okay, but you're thinking of maybe 1 by 1 kilometer. What about having a desert? Because you are the Metaverse of sustainability. So why don't we have deserts and mountains and islands and a place for a harbor? So then you can get all your partners in, and you don't have to, well, let's say, restructure what you had before. Sorry, this is misbehavior of my computer. We will experience this in the next 20 minutes, 2 more times. And but we're still friends. So sustainability is a very old laptop. So what we did is we said, okay, let's do it big. Let's do it 70 by 70 kilometers. And here's the first case of how can I earn money. We want to talk about business cases. And one thing would be you are an automotive brand, and then the desert is not the desert, it's the name of the automotive company, and then desert, yeah? X desert. You can sell this. Yeah? You can give ownership to other people, groups, whatever. Here, by the way, is the handover in June, July this year. We even, here you see it much better, made a 3D print of this world. And imagine what we could do also, again, with AR and projection mapping and everything. But we just handed it over to show that we are also living in the real world. So, first corporate metaverse in the world, question mark, exclamation mark. As we know, nobody else did something in that size and with this intensity. This is the main building where we are focusing on, And before I talk too much about what is there in theory, let's have a look at it. First of all, we went over to AllSpace VR. And we created this world here. In Metaverse, the sun is always shining. Maybe you remember, no, you don't remember, the song from a-ha, I think it was in the 80s, The Sun Always Shines on TV. They have to rewrite the song. There are new rules, and some of you may have experience with that, some not. This is more for the people who have not this experience. And by the way, who of you was in a Metaverse world or in the Metaverse before? Just raise your hand if this was the case. Good. Accenture guys, first row, they have been in. and the rest not. So for the people on the screen, so we have, I don't know, more than 100 people here, and 3 people said, yes, we've been into it, and they're from Accenture, they have to be on there. So that will change, of course, but we are still here where we say we are experienced for 5 years now in creating collaboration platforms, but on the other hand, we are still discovering new things every day. And we got some people, for example, from the gaming industry to create our team. And yeah, nowadays it's a fluent process to be in such worlds or to create such worlds. What we did here is, this is the so-called spawn point. This is where you appear in this world. And of course, you need some explanation. So you can have a look at how can I teleport. Here I can have a look at my avatar or my avatars, so I'm very lonely at the moment because this is a special world. Someone appeared during the break. He's gone, hopefully. So maybe he's hijacking this show here. And what we have in the middle of the world, in the beginning it was called the Republic of Innovators. So the floor plan is an R, an O, and I. And the O is the data lake, the so-called data lake. And in the middle of this data lake, we have a panel where we can start data stories. First of all, why data stories? Data stories is something we agreed upon with the client that is so interesting that people like us are having a look at it. But also media partners, journalists have a look at it, and they may spread the word. And what is a good experience? What is something new? Data stories is something very, very specific and very, very new. And the other thing is, and this was an experience of mine, so I'm 50 plus, and I have a team where people are 25, for example. And I was debating with my creative team, saying, hey, I want to have the panel in the middle of the lake, because you see, at the corner, or at the edge here, we were writing walk on water. This is the data lake, walk on water, because we want to go with our clients new paths, and that's why I said, I want to start in. I studied psychology a long time ago, and I said, okay, I want to be in the story. I don't want to be outside. And the discussion between an old guy and the younger guy was that the old guy said, hey, you have to rethink your behavior. I want to start in the story, because we are not in front of a TV set that is linked to a PlayStation. So we are in the Metaverse. And there are new dimensions, there are new ways we can go. And that means we had discussions, finally, for God's sakes, I'm the boss. We made it in the middle, and now everybody says, hey, it's so cool because we're starting inside a story. It's not like having a look at a TV screen. So I start the story to the left, so we have 2 of them. And so we have 3 stories, but I show 2 of them. So to the left, you see, and this time it's not about the content itself. I just want to demonstrate how a data story works. This is about sustainability targets. What if you fulfill them? What if you miss them? And I can manipulate the data. We also have a data experience lady in our team, and she's responsible for the data stories, and that is very accurate. And you see here an iceberg, and this is all the ice that we have on our planet. And then we have our panel where we can influence our data. And I just press a button, and you see cause and effect. So if I raise the temperature on Earth, we're talking about global warming here, you see the effect on the cities. And you can even go in depth and really have a scientific look at it. For us, it's more like, okay, I'm inside a story and I experience it. We even had audiences in VR where people said I even was able to feel how the cold water was coming up my legs. We know in virtual reality we don't have legs. In this case we had, it seems to be the case. And this is how it feels like. We have no audio today. It's not really necessary, but you can imagine now we have an underwater sound. And here you can go out of the story. You even see the pollution, the air pollution above it. And this is how you can interact with data. You experience data. We are even working on how can we touch data, but this maybe next year, same place, and 1 year later. Another story that we have inside of this data lake is something where you may say in a sec, so we just have to wait because the data has to be just put out here. And where I say, what I see here now is something that I also know from life. And by the way, we are showcasing this also one-on-one with or to our clients. And this is the effect we want to have. We want to show them, okay, now, for example, the so-called MRE is not loading. There's a small trick how you can redo this here. And what you see here is also about sustainability. And again, for me, it's not about the content in this round here. It's that we just have a look at what would you say is this what you're seeing here?
Sources of
Energy,
energy.
but the thing, the structure that you see here, what would you say usually? It's a tree. It's a tree. What we see is a tree, but we're not seeing a tree. We're having a look at an Excel sheet. And that's the nice thing about data stories in the metaverse. So whatever topic, you're right, yeah, is what we can experience in a completely different way. And of course, clients are asking us, yeah, but what is the reason behind? As soon as you go with goggles in the metaverse and you're showcasing that, you're experiencing that, people have it, they got it, they say, oh my God, if this is marketing, if this is our marketing numbers, if this is, for example, about sustainability data, scientific data, it's a completely new approach to really get data in a different way. So, just to show that, here's someone else. Maybe this is Paul, because usually I should be here with my co-lead, with Paul. He looks like Paul, I think it is Paul. We talk about avatars later on. So, center of the world, data visualization, data stories. Lessons learned here is that we have, greetings to Paul, he is ill, that's why he's not here today. And I'm very impolite and I just click him away, but I think he watches us now, and greetings to Paul. And what we learned here is, for example, not only about being involved in stories, having the golden hour, it's also about size. I said in the beginning, big, but not too big. It has to be cozy enough that you feel comfortable. Another lesson we learned is we are still humans. So we want to make places where the people come back because it's a nice place. And if you go down the stairs, for example, you see a beach. And so we had also some people, okay, some more of my team members are coming in here. We had people walking around the beach and they didn't want to get out. And we said, hey, it's just a virtual beach. But they said, hey, outside it's cold. Here I have a beach. It looks great. I want to be there. Psychology is really, for me, the fulcrum of all of it. It's about, do I want to be in there? Do I want to meet people in there? If it's not a cozy place, if it's empty, if it's cold, people won't reappear, people won't enjoy their time in the metaverse. And this is something where we will also release a white paper in February next year. So some more of the things we can show around is just here a quick glimpse on, you can meet people that have, for example, the same interests, mobility, decentralization, and so on. We have here, I think about spatial audio, so if I close the door of this private lounge here, then nobody else can hear us. And even here at the end of it, I just change over to teleportation, it's a bit faster, is that we have, for example, a factory. And that's a funny story because I showcased this to my clients 2 or 3 weeks ago, at an event in Zurich, and he said, I didn't know that we have the space. And that's a good sign, because it means that the space is growing. And this is also something about metaverse worlds. You start really small, and then it's developing. And you have a plan, but then finally new ideas spread, and it's growing massively and very fast. Another thing, of course, this is what we're doing right now here, is virtual events. So this was maybe a bug. So we just go upstairs. And what you see here right now, so we're backstage, and then we have a beautiful stage like in the real world, with maybe some more features. For example, in the background, we have analytics. We worked a lot on analytics, that we know who was where, heat mapping, and yeah, of course, also giving this data to the people who want to have that. Just imagine, yeah? So we are really happy that we are all here in the real world, but sometimes it makes sense to meet in the virtual world. And again, here, event business is changing, not only because of COVID, but also because of the possibilities that we finally have and that are coming together here. Going upstairs, you see a different kind of data stories. We have our beautiful blue planet here, and nothing else. There's no sign saying, hey, think about, and so because we know our audience is smart. Inspire people. It's about inspiration. We want to inspire with worlds, we want to inspire with environments, and also with elements in the world where you see in the background Mars, and of course we have this question in mind. Can what happened to Mars also happen to planet Earth? And people can start to discuss. Just imagine here 50 people going around and then starting conversations. And conversation starters is something that you should offer as a creator of the metaverse. Here we have something, we just put it in here because we didn't want to change too much between codes of all space we are. And so we have a transfer here now. It takes us some time because of the bandwidth. But another thing, where we show this to clients also again, to show, okay, this is the status of the internet, and this is where we have the problem that not only we have this friendly bug again, but we have these loading times. And that means that we here have the possibility to not only talk about the metaverse, but one day also about the omniverse, if we combine all those worlds together. And this space is what we did on our own, so it's an Accenture space. As I said, we just integrated here for today so that we can have a look around. Again, it's about storytelling, it's about moods. So I was in a world that is close to this world, but now we have a different look. And another lesson learned is set up hooks. So it's very easy for the brain to anchor places. And if you have this word by mouth thing going on, it's good to have a hook where the people say, hey, have you been to this underwater cave? Have you been to this data lake? And the people will remember. And this is something that works without doing so much or any kind of promotion. Another thing, collaboration. For us, it's something where we say, okay, this is for sure. That's why we're meeting in VR, but so in the metaverse. But I really have to tell these clients again and again. We can, for example, upload any kind of cat data, and then we can have a look at it and we can collaborate. And the one guy is somewhere in London and the other guy is in Bratislava, and they collaborate. So for us, it's like, yes, of course, we have Teams meeting and so. But this is really the future of collaborating and of being sustainable at the same time. So I want to stop here. There are several other things to show, several other business models, but we will talk about them now. So what I got out of my last months is, for example, always be kind to the 3D artists. They can make you look much slimmer. But to be serious, of course, there are some other outcomes. And if we have a look at this one here, we see how many fields of generating money are possible. And this is just the top of the iceberg. We can imagine there's so much more. So we saw some examples that Fadi showed before. And it's our generation now, our generations, where we can find out what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And I will show you one or two other things now. As mentioned before, start small. People are always thinking of, especially companies, oh, this one company, they invested $1 million and so on. No, we can start really in a small way and get to know the metaverse, get to know our own branch, our own company in such an environment. And it's very, very, it's very, very, we need to have a look at that when we are starting with metaverse applications and worlds, that we also have to think about the outcome. So whatever a company and whatever a group of people is doing nowadays in regards to digitalization, they have to think of, finally, it will be in the metaverse. This is where we will work, this is where we will live, and we know the metaverse is reality and augmented reality and virtual reality, and this complete journey between those worlds. And we are responsible for worlds where people say, hey, it's worth living in there, working in there. And we, as Accenture Extended Reality Metaverse Group, so we are thinking of, if I create something like a beautiful place in the virtual world, we want to inspire people to have this sort or kind of living also in the real world one day. Hopefully in 2 or 3 generations, people will say, hey, I spent my time at university in this beautiful place in the metaverse. Why don't I have the same thing in the real world? So metaverse can be a very, very inspirational place. Get into the metaverse. This is what I tell my clients. So we all had this first step into the metaverse. Even our board members, this is our San Francisco tower where we have our headquarters in the real world. We are also coming along. We are going to exhibitions. We are going to the clients, and we say, "Hey, don't fear the metaverse." Another lesson learned: people fear this step, and it's not about older people. Everyone is scared. So some people say, "Hey, great, cool, nice experience." Other people are, "No, I don't want to be in there. Oh my God, this is a cold world." So I don't fear it, but. And we have to work on that. We have to show people that we have advantages. And at the moment, really, it's also about sustainability. And we are consulting people, when does it make sense to go into a metaverse world? And to start a Q&A now, so one of the questions from the audience would be now, how long should I spend in the metaverse? This is a question that we hear very often. And what we usually have is the saying, hey, in the beginning, so 3-4 years ago, we said, don't spend more than 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then after half a year, we said, okay, not more than an hour. Nowadays, we have nice places that we created. People don't want to go out of it, and we have to kick them out. After 3 hours, we said, hey, we had a 2-hour deal, and now we have to move you away out of the internet, out of the metaverse. So another thing that we tell our clients is, don't believe the hype. So believe in yourself. What does that mean? So there are a lot of, let's say, metaverse experts, for example, on LinkedIn. So on my profile, I'm working on metaverse and collaboration platforms for years and years. I don't have that on LinkedIn. I'm extended reality. So if you're in contact with a company, and even if you're having an interview because you want to join a company, ask them, what have you to show? For example, this is a fictional space. This is what we are using. And this is a so-called alpine retreat where we can do some design thinking sessions. So our design thinking guys at Accenture, they meet there. Our clients meet our account leads, and they meet there, and they make sessions together. And so I always say, we even have a club room for our employees. Yeah? So 2 years ago, we said, okay, Christmas parties, no chance. We created a Christmas club room, and now it's a general club room where people can meet and dance. So, to come to the end now, so we have a little announcement, so sorry for misusing the space here. So immersive coaching is a new branch that we invented. Team building processes in VR, in the metaverse. It makes sense. You have a team, one guy again is somewhere in the world, and the other one guy is at the other end of the world, and they have to collaborate. And we have our Accenture immersive collaboration platform that we developed because there was COVID and we needed the space to meet. Developed further on, and on February the 2nd we will start with MOM. MOM is the Metaverse Operative Modules framework, and it's Unity-based, and you can take modules and you can create easily your own worlds and be part of the Metaverse. And these are the first pictures that I show today of how a coaching process, for example, starts. Then you go with your team, for example, on a, again, fictional rooftop in New York, and then you can start the team building process. So, we are coming to the end. Last but not least, this is a picture I shot this year, and I was smiling a bit, and I said, hey, that's good for such a presentation. So please join the community, the Bad Hair Days guys community, and join the Metaverse, because this is maybe the most negative aspect, that you don't look good after taking off your goggles. And so I would say, join the Metaverse and yeah, have fun with it. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have some questions.
We have some questions. Basically, the idea is Ivan and Gregor asked questions, and the rest voted massively.
Okay.
Are they here actually, Ivan and Gregor?
Some questions from the audience.
There you go.
Yeah,
nice.
sure.
But a lot of people voted, so a lot of agreement on what the questions were. So we're going to start with the top one.
Yeah.
How does augmented reality fit in the metaverse concept? Metaverse is a virtual reality application.
Thank you for this question. Metaverse is so much more than virtual reality. Metaverse is this: I'm sitting together with my guys somewhere in reality, and we're talking because we're human beings. Social interaction. And we want to go to the movies. And then Fadi says, hey, I know a super cool movie. And the devices of the future, and I don't name any companies now because we don't know what will come next, yeah? It's something like that. So for example, as soon as I have started now my augmented reality application, I see the people here, yeah? So, and for example, the star rating, yeah? 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, yeah? Love the guys, yeah? So 5 stars, 5 stars. So that means I have so much more human nature coming back to me, because the device, the technology survives, cameraman, 10 stars. So that means that we really have this augmented information that is helping us to focus on what is more us, yeah? The human being, the human nature. So we are sitting there, we're just tipping here, and this is going to be some sunglasses. We have a look at the trailer of this movie, and then we are ordering with voice control our tickets, and then later on we are socializing, because we are having this very old-fashioned analog feeling of being together with someone in a space and staring at a screen. Yeah? But that's the thing. This augmented reality is a big part of the metaverse. Reality is a big part of the metaverse. Yeah? Altogether is the metaverse.
Okay, cool. with a top one, it's also my question because we were talking about why nobody has any legs and arms. Is there a reason not to use realistic graphics as used in top games today?
Okay, this is coming from Anonymous, November the 5th, you know. So also again, thank you for this question, because what I have to say here is that we would like to have more realistic graphics. And our MUM framework is the most realistic thing you can get. Yeah? So we were presented at Microsoft Ignite, and someone showed, so Alex Kipman, the inventor of the HoloLens, he showed our environment and said, okay, this is how it has to be. This is the top level of having the most realistic fancy stuff on, for example, Oculus or Meta Quests. Problem is, not everyone has some, I don't want to say PlayStation, but I say PlayStation now, some PlayStation gear at home. And we have this from clients. So a C-level is coming to us, a board member, saying, yeah, that's super nice what you're doing, but on my son's PlayStation, it looks much better. So we know if I take, for example, a Meta Quest, this is an old Android device, maybe 2 years old, and for that, they made a super fantastic job. So what you can get out of a Quest is really amazing. But we're still there, and we need to improve. Hardware needs to improve, and it's always the game, and we have this game for decades now, hardware and then applications, hardware applications. And we're dependent on the hardware. So we are really not comparing the right devices. Yeah? So we are talking about goggles, about equipment that is maybe $400 and not 1,000 or even more.
Cool. Next one is, when is your next music album coming out?
Okay,
just
so I'm working on two at the moment.
What's your opinion on metaverse real estate kind of business?
Yeah, so we saw that there was this one igloo and some igloos in the background. This is, for example, how you sell real estate. So why not joining, because you don't want to invest into a metaverse world, for 999 days, paying an amount of, I don't know, X amount of dollars, and then I can test it. So selling real estate, this is my personal opinion, yeah, not the opinion of Accenture, is for me a bit too much hype. But in certain fields of, let's say, serious business, it's really a good thing to do, especially as we will focus finally on some worlds and not on several million worlds. Just evolution of the internet, metaverse. So how many websites do you visit? Do you visit constantly, for example? So you can answer this question to yourself. Yeah? So for me, it's a hype. Sometimes, if it's a realistic approach, it's something where I say, yes, totally makes sense.
Okay, then we'll do the last one. I think it's one of the oldest questions from the beginning of your talk. Is the data, oh, there he goes. Is the data lake a pre-programmed application? How quickly can it be extended with more visualizations, data sets, in terms of automated data comprehension? Okay,
I think Ivan, someone from my team, just fooling me. So we have the so-called MREs, the extensions, the plugins, mixed reality extensions, the plugins that we have at Allspace VR. And we pushed it to the limit. What you saw here is really the very far end. We are collaborating very closely with Microsoft, and some Microsoft guys asked us, how did you do that? So it's like, so we're always exchanging what did you do, what did we do, and so really this is the limit of it. And we know there will be a follow-up of a successor of Microsoft Allspace. Let's have a look at what will be possible then. Okay. Then, 1 or 2 questions from the audience, or? Sorry? 1 or 2 questions from the audience.
We're totally done on timing.
Okay, so thank you very much. See you. I'm also at the booth. Yeah, if you want to step into this world, you're welcome. It's just around the corner. Thank you very much.
Okay, give it up. Andy, nice. Thank you so much.